I was telling him about our conversation about P Diddy and stuff, and
Ah,
like Naroki didn't really understand how freaking big that story was. You know what I mean? Because like I was telling him how he had to like break us up and start a conversation, try to change the topic because it was taking so long. And the funny part about it is after we had that, I went on to two other shows, and we were talking about the same thing, and everybody freaking had something to say about it. Like it, it really is big news.
yeah, and not only that, and that's something I wanted to talk about when I have you on the show,
Mm-hmm.
because that's going to keep getting bigger and bigger. Um, it's looking more and more like this might be even connected to the Epstein scandal.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and there's a lot of names that weren't on the Epstein list, but were on the diddlers. I'm calling him the diddler from now on, by the way, Diddy. He is the diddler. And a lot of names that showed up on there, some cross names between both lists, like Clinton's and Obama's, showing up on both lists. Um, so the shit that is hitting the fan, and another female has, I think, come forward in the last 24 hours, claiming to either been trafficked or abused by Diddy. So,
Now, see, that's what I was also mentioning. Like, whenever they talk about trafficking, are they talking about like child trafficking? And I had somebody say that the girls were between like 12 and 14 that made some of these claims.
yeah, it's not just girls, boys. He was also grooming artists that are coming into the industry, like Justin Bieber, Usher, Meek Mill. Justin Bieber, when he was 15, he started grooming them and he started having them over at his freak off parties. I don't know if you've seen the video going viral with it shows football player Odell Beckham Jr., who's with the Miami Dolphins,
Mm-hmm.
and he's on video, and you can see Justin giving him oral,
Oh my God.
um, and they're in a nightclub, and at the same time, there's a guy behind Odell Beckham, the football player, and he's giving him a rude entry into the back door.
Oh
Let's
my
just
God.
say. And as this is going on, the video comes up close, catches him by surprise, and you could clearly see the guy pumping in the back. Odell Beckham looks directly at the camera like, "Oh, you just caught me," And Justin Bieber has his face by his crotch, and he lifts his head up, turns around, looks right directly at the camera, and then does something like odd with his face. Like he looked like he was stoned out of his mind. Um, his lips are all wet, like there's a lot of saliva just coming out of it, or maybe somebody just injected some other fluids in there. Either way, it's not a good look for the Beebs. Also, it explains why before all this started hitting the fan, he sold his entire catalog for $200 million and left the music industry.
Yeah. He
I think he
actually
knew this was coming.
he
Yeah,
actually had a breakdown, started getting all rebellious and crazy too. I would explain that
yeah.
because usually when kids have been touched, they have a tendency of doing that, lashing out.
Well, not only that. In one of his last songs, he said how he did it all for a Ferrari. I think they groomed him and they started giving him gifts, and he was like so drugged all the time that half of the stuff he was doing, he probably doesn't even know he was doing.
Yeah, that's
And
crazy.
that happens to a lot. That happened to Corey Haim. Corey Feldman
Yeah.
talked about it. That it's gone on and on and on. Dana Plato from Different Strokes was a victim of that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Taj Jackson, one of the Jackson kids, who is one of Michael's nephews, was also groomed by a producer and molested. And the guy who actually came in and saved them was Michael. Go figure. And a lot of people don't know that story. Um, but notice, I mean, in the music industry in particular, there's a lot of grooming of young artists. Usher was sent to live with Diddy when he was like 12 or 13 around there. I mean, think of it.
Yeah.
Why would any parent send their child at that age? Not let's just say he's a random producer, right?
Hmm.
He's an you know 30 some whatever 40-year-old producer at that time. This is a 13-year-old kid away from home. Why would you send him to live there for a year? And on top of that, now it's not just a random producer. It's a guy who's notoriously involved in gangs and other activities, drugs, and stuff like that. What reasonable parent or responsible parent would actually, send their child to that environment? So, I mean, the parents need to be charged. Diddy needs to be charged. Usher is very reluctant on speaking, but he really needs to come forward because he knows what happened. And the reason he doesn't want to say anything because he groomed Justin Bieber.
Yeah.
It follows that pattern,
For,
and it's only get worse.
well, I mean, you see that happening a lot too. Like everybody has their suspicions about Michael Jackson and all the kids that he had at his mansion and stuff too. So you know, that was there too. And
Yeah, but see, there's with Michael, there's a little bit of a different interpretation, which people are kind of like misconceiving. People always say, "Oh, he had a bunch of kids over, and they're all sleeping in the bed, and they're like all getting molested and fingered up the ass by Michael Jackson." Actually, Michael Jackson, for the most part, his bedroom was like a house. Okay,
uh
and I'm talking about like his bedroom had 2 floors. It had multiple couches. Had a huge bed. And when they say, "Oh, kids are sleeping over," they're like, "Oh, he picked some random kids from the neighborhoods." No, we're talking about like his nieces and nephews. Okay, like family members, his young siblings, kids. Not exactly people that he's gonna rape.
hmm
Those are the kids who are hanging out, and every single one of them always said, "Yeah, Michael would sleep on the floor, would watch, Disney movies or whatever, play video games, and that was it." And I followed both cases pretty, close. And there's stuff that people don't know about, like the first case in '93, which was disgustingly obvious there was a hoax. The father, I don't know if you know the story of Jordan Chandler, the kid.
Yeah, I heard Jordan
Um,
Channel.
yeah, he was the one who they based the case on. His dad was a writer and producer for the movie Robin Hood Men in Tights, directed by Mel Brooks. Now you can look this up. I'm not lying. The dude wanted to make a movie. He went to Michael for $20 million. Michael turned him down. He said, "I'm not interested because he didn't like the script and stuff." And there's a recording that somebody did of a conversation with Jordan Chandler's father, where he says, "I have an idea and I know exactly what I'm going to do. This is going to ruin him." And he's talking about Michael because he didn't give him 20 million to make a movie. So then they have other recordings of Jordan himself, and you can tell he's being groomed into the story by psychiatrists and all this stuff. But it wasn't Michael that paid him off. It was his attorneys because Michael was in the middle of a big concert tour, and a controversy would have destroyed a multi-hundred-million-dollar plus tour.
Hmm.
So the attorneys paid off. Michael didn't even know about it. He wanted to take that to court. It was a bullshit case, and he never molested that kid. The father of Jordan Chandler committed suicide after years of like pretty much regretting doing what he did because it destroyed Michael Jackson's life with a lie. And after he committed suicide, Jordan Chandler came forward and said that he was never touched by Michael, never molested, and the whole thing was a big lie that his dad cooked up to get and extort money from Michael, and he was coached into lying about Michael Jackson. So there goes that case,
Mm-hmm.
and it was never brought to court. He was never convicted of that case. And the one in 2005, well, he won that case because I mean, people come at him and people want to believe that he's a child molester because people don't know the facts in the first case. So at that point, anybody who brings any kind of case against Michael Jackson, people are going to say that he's at it again, raping kids. Every
Mm-hmm.
time something happens in the world, somehow they get something on Michael Jackson or doing something weird so they can distract us from world events, like the shit that's really happening. Even now, the motherfucker's been dead for like a couple of decades almost. And every time something happens, you hear about something Michael Jackson related. Whether it's a documentary or some other dickhead that comes out and say, "I want to sue. Could you touch me in my penis when I was 14 in 1987?" Yeah, what's your proof? I really have none, but I want 20 million. That's what happens. And unfortunately, Michael's no longer here to defend himself. But I will say that when he went to court, he proved he was innocent. And by the way, the jury pool, it was very tainted because in the eyes of the media, you know how it works. Even though you're innocent to proven guilty,
Mm-hmm.
in the eyes of the media, he was already guilty. You know, the, since the '80s, they labeled him a weirdo and a freak and a rapist, and the dude was like singing about rainbows and save the earth.
Yeah.
And the reason they went at him is because didn't want to make music that was about sex. He wanted to make music about positive shit.
Yeah.
And Sony really wanted his catalog for hundreds of millions. Plus, if he died, guess what happens? He also owned the Beatles catalogs worth billions. So guess who has control of all that shit? Sony.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot of Michael Jackson stuff that is like really bizarre. And I don't believe he molested anybody, but I do think he was molested,
Yeah.
and that's part of what drove him like to be a little loopy. That, and we do know he had vitiligo, skin disorder, like he said he did. That was not discovered in the autopsy,
I
and
know.
he didn't lie about that. So,
I know he did get abused though. I remember even
Mm.
in his movie they said that his dad would beat him if he didn't do his dance moves right, stuff
hmm
like that.
hmm yeah, but I mean, I don't blame Joe because he would spank all the kids. You think that you ever been spanked by your dad or your mom? Shit
Mm-hmm.
happens, and when you're in that environment, look, I will say this about Joe Jackson and his wife. None of the Jackson kids became drug dealers, right?
Yeah.
None of them. You don't hear about Tito or any of the other brothers, Jermaine, whatever, ever be involved in DUIs, murders, gang activity, drug deals. None of them. All right. So as parents, they did a good fucking job
Yeah.
because in a bad place like Gary, Indiana, they raised a bunch of kids in an area full of gangsters and gangbangers, and none of them turned out that way. And they're Jehovah's Witnesses, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
And my family is Jehovah's Witness. I know how that environment works. I'm agnostic. I broke away from religion, but I know how they think. And I can tell you, as parents, they did a bang up job considering all the kids they had. So I don't blame Joe. You got to get the best out of you, the best performer in the group.
Yeah, I know. I gotta go
Mm.
So
do something real quick. I will be right back. Okay.
yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
And Michael's kind of a sensitive dude, anyways. Like you yelled at him or his
Yeah.
rat and Ben, and you're like, "God damn it, Ben! You shitted on we." And Michael will be in the corner. Stop screaming at Ben. So I mean, he was a very sensitive kid as it was. So if you got an ass whooping one day to him, that was like, "Oh my God, he whooped me in my ass." Help! It's the worst thing ever. Man, I've been whooped with chancletas. I don't know if you know what that is, Mark. I've been whooped with
Yeah.
belts, trees. I got hit by a bike. My dad threw that shit in my head. I know the motherfucker was trying to kill me, but I still love my dad. Shit happens. But I'm not a sensitive kid. Michael was. They look at the way not only he but his entire family dresses. Right? They all
Mm.
they're
Mm.
all very soft spoken. They dress like fancy, like they're not normal in that sense. They're all like very sensitive. But Michael was the most sensitive out of all of them, and that's just the way he
Mm.
was, man. Rest in peace, though. He made some great ass fucking music. I'll tell you that.
Mm.
Hmm.
Mm.
Michael
It's
Jackson
just.
and the words "great ass fucking" should never go together. He made good fucking music.
Yeah, just the environment they was brought up in.
Would you say something about Chopin? He was a
Uh,
great musician too.
no, yeah, it was just the environment they was brought up in.
Okay. I kind of got some of that. you know what?
Okay, yeah, it
You know
wasn't.
what? You know what your problem is though. Your microphone's on your desktop or on your
No, my
laptop.
microphone's in there.
That's even worse.
That's actually better. This is generally good.
You need something like this, my friend.
That's what I.
Uh,
I've been saying that to him for a while now. He won't.
and right here, look, Amazon. You
He,
get these bad boys for $25. Right.
Uh,
This is what I've been using for like the last 10 years, and I have a
yeah, but
$1,000 setup, which is
this
crazy.
is a Jabra device which retails for about 200. I pick up for about 120 or something. Uh, British pounds.
$25,
Uh, yeah,
and
but this is
it's never failed me once, and it sounds legit.
but this is good for other purposes such as out and about. So I can't really
Uh,
wear that outside.
Understood, but Roger, who sounds better?
I sound better.
Generally, I sound good. It's just today. Just
I've
today.
been telling him for a while now that he should just cave in and get the headphones. That I mean, and they're not that bad. Back in the
No,
'70s, we used to wear them things all the time. Didn't have a problem in the world with it. And
Yeah,
that
but it's not practical for my own use case.
I think you'd look cool with a pair. To be honest.
Mm,
uh,
again, it's
this is
just
all
not
space on
practical.
unless I gotta go to the bathroom and take a poop while I'm on the air. Then that's like, well, gentlemen, I'm gonna go drop some hate mail. I'll be back, and then I'll just put my video off and be like,
And now he's just showing off.
speaking right now, but you cannot hear what I'm saying. I'm on mute.
See, he's showing off to you, Mark.
Indeed, indeed.
$25, Mark, and I can mute myself.
I can mute myself.
Yeah, yeah, but it sounds terrible when you come back on, and it's not you; it's the device.
I am back on now. It should sound okay.
But you're touching your
Should
ear
sound
every
okay.
time you do it. That's the weird part. Like you're actually like reaching up and touching your head and to
Oh,
turn.
It's like he's getting an order from like the Sith Lord. Execute Order 66.
Have you ever watched Mork and Mindy?
Oh, of course.
Nano Nanu. That's some.
Nano,
uh,
nano. Yeah, Robin Williams.
He,
No.
he would always touch his freaking head
Yeah.
to touch to talk to Orbison.
Yeah. That was one of my first shows growing up when I was a kid.
do,
Me
Rest in
too.
peace.
I loved
do.
him.
Have you seen, have you heard of Jaime Costa?
No, I haven't.
Dude, I didn't believe cloning was possible until I saw this dude. He looks identical to Robin Williams.
Oh wow.
It looks like Robin Williams, like reborn. Like he does. He's an actor, by the way, and he does a Mork and Mindy clip and put online. I'm gonna give you on the chat here, and it is freaking brilliant. He's trying to get a biopic of Robin Williams made. He's a huge fan, and he looks just like this dude. Let me see if I can find this. I can link it to you. Jaime Costa, Robin Williams. And he does impression videos, all kinds of stuff. And he doesn't really have to do much of an impression because, like, the guy just looks like Robin Williams. It's like it's freaky. Let me see. It was funny, like they were trying to do like a deep fake, and they were like, "Yeah, we don't have to do anything. That looks just like fucking Robin Williams." So they didn't do like they were like, "There's can't change anything." He's like display the image. It was like it's a perfect deep fake. They don't have to do any work.
Freaking I seen somebody put up a picture the other day on that new what is it, Enigma Cafe. They were showing pictures of, no, it was on Jaffe's show. He was showing pictures of this guy who's claiming to be Elvis Presley.
Dude, he would be like 100 years old right now. Like,
yeah. I was thinking the same thing.
Yeah, he'll be like, I used to be the king. Now I'm the mummy. Oh, nothing but a hound dog. I just threw my back out. Oh, I need intensive care now. Put me in a hospice so I can get down with. I say if Lois would be alive right now, he'd be a rapper. That's what he'd be. And here comes Mark.
He does look like him. Oh my God.
Jews! Oh, there he goes. Hey, what's up, Mark?
You're right. This guy could easily be him.
Right?
Yeah.
Dude, and he's like a really good actor. He even did a Han Solo video, like where he's playing Han Solo in like a fan film.
Uh-huh.
And bro, he's like spot on. I mean, he doesn't look like Harrison Ford as much, but his mannerisms, like this guy's a really good actor with the makeup on and stuff. You're like, he can pass as Han Solo, better than the guy they got for the movie. Now, the ideal actor would have been this other guy named Anthony Gruber, who looks exactly like Harrison Ford. And I found him because of this guy, Jaime Costa. I was looking at the Robin Williams video, and I was like, who the hell is this Anthony Gruber guy? Why wasn't he cast? And bro, if you want to see like freaky, let me show you that video. Anthony Gruber.
Sounds like a. Have you ever heard of Andy Kaufman?
No.
Andy Kaufman played on Taxi with
Andy Kaufman. I'm sorry. Jim Carrey played in the movie.
Right.
Man on the moon. No, I just misheard the name. That's why I was like, no. But then he meant Andy Kaufman.
Now he was one of those kind of guys too. He could look pretty much like anybody he wanted to look like, and he was a strange one. He was a real strange guy.
Oh yeah. Well, most of those gimmick. Him and Larry the King.
Yeah.
Lawler.
Yeah.
They did the whole wrestling thing, which that was just a joke. It was just them goofing around. They're actually really good friends, but everybody thought that like they were mortal enemies.
It's all part of it.
Battling it out. Yeah, it was funny as shit. Like, but anyway, check it out. That's Anthony Gruber. He got a gig on a movie called Days of Adeline, or Age of Adeline. I'm sorry, Age of Adeline. And it was with Harrison Ford as the lead actor, and he played a young version of Harrison Ford in that movie.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's how much he looks and sounds like a young Harrison Ford.
Yeah.
And he did this video imitating the scene from Star Wars. His voice, mannerisms, like it looks like a clone. And like there were even talks about him taking over the Indiana Jones role since he didn't get the Han Solo role. They fucked up the Han Solo movie really bad. That's why I'm always worried about biopics. But if I was gonna do like a Robin Williams one, that Jaime Costa guy, I mean,
Yeah.
no doubt, that's the guy. I mean, you don't have to do anything.
Now him, he would be better as a young Indiana than anything else. It's cool with Harrison Ford, but he would be perfect for young Indiana Jones.
The Anthony Gruber kid,
Yeah,
yeah, no, he looks dead on.
he
Uh,
would be perfect for that, just with the way he acts. Cause like in the movies with Indiana Jones, that's where you get to see a lot of Harrison Ford's facial expressions. You know what I mean?
yeah, yeah.
He would be perfect for it.
If they were rebooting Indiana Jones, that's the guy.
Yeah,
I mean, you don't have to look any further. Plus, he already played a young Harrison Ford in Age of Adeline,
yeah, that would
which
be.
is a really good. It's a good movie. Have you seen that movie?
No, I haven't seen it at all. I haven't.
Oh, dude.
The one thing I freaking bring up every time I talk about Harrison Ford is how he got his job. Like I know he was a carpenter before he was an actor,
Yeah.
and he was actually in what's his face's office fixing his door.
Yeah. George Lucas.
Yeah, George Lucas's. Yeah, he was fixing his door. He was working for the
Well,
carpenters union.
there was actually interaction before that. Steven Spielberg had used Harrison Ford for construction also, for fixing some stuff. And he's the one that advised George to call the same company or the same people. And ironically enough, it was Harrison Ford who showed up for the job. Same guy. And that's how he met George Lucas. And yeah, he was doing some cabinet work for his office. And George, I'm pretty sure you'll know this to be fact if you know the story. George was short on somebody to read, and he's like, "Yeah, you want to read here with the rest of the cast just as fill in because they didn't have it was for American Graffiti of all things."
Hmm.
And he was like, "Okay," and he just like he put down the brush or whatever the hell he was doing, and went over and read, and like George was like, "Holy smokes, this guy is like a natural." And he cast him in American Graffiti. It was a small part, but it was a good part. Then he cast him in Star Wars because again he was working on carpentry, and he's like he was looking for Han Solo and he couldn't find him. And he's like, "Well, you worked on a movie with me once. You want to read for Han Solo?" And he's like, "Sure, George." So like, talk about being in the right place at the right time, right?
Yeah, really, that is true.
Yeah, yeah.
No, that
And now he's like the best known actor in the world, really. Like,
exactly. That's something else. I love
yeah,
hearing stories about it because that's one of the big ones. Like where a person just becomes a movie star overnight. You know that very seldomly happens in Hollywood. You know.
well, it takes the right project. Like one of my good friends who I've known since like 1992 or three, just came out with a movie and it's finally starting to like get some buzz. And he's been acting for like since 2000,
Mhm.
and now, and I'm 46. I'm about a year or two older than he is. And now finally he did a movie which is getting recognition because it was distributed pretty well. It's called Demise. And here's the twist in the whole thing. I've known him for a long time. He's one of my really good close friends. His name is Carlo Mendez. His sister is Eva Mendez. I don't know if you're familiar with her.
Not on top of my head. Maybe if I checked it out.
If
But
you if somebody you definitely know, she's done movies with Smith. She was in one of the Bad Boys movies.
yeah, yeah, I know her. She's the hot
Yeah,
Asian chick, or not
no, she's
Asian.
the
She's
hot
a Hispanic.
Latina.
Latina chick, yeah.
She's Cuban, Cuban chick.
Yeah, Fast and the
Uh,
Furious, right?
yeah, I
Yeah.
think she might have been in that. But if you look up her profile, you'll see her brother Carlo Mendez.
Mhm.
That's my homie. I've known him for like 30 plus years.
I don't care
Or
about
30,
him.
yeah.
I don't care about him.
No,
Let me keep looking at her, man. She's hot.
oh, let me tell you,
She.
I saw her. Everybody tells me, "Did you ever get to meet Eva?" Who knows that I know her brother? And I'm like, I saw her maybe twice in person because they had the same dads but different moms.
Uh-huh.
And it was funny because she was born here but raised in California with her mom.
Mhm.
And she only would come here during the summer, more or less. And I think sometimes she stayed down here when dad moved here for a little bit. But she didn't live with her brother. They had separate houses. And we actually, me and Carlo lived about 3 blocks from each other, so we would hang out a lot. And I'll never forget the one time it was like right in the middle of summer. We'd have summer school, and I went to his house to pick him up to go hang out at the mall. And it was his day off. He used to work at Taco Bell, which is really funny. I used to get free tacos all the time. Funny story. We used to come out of school and just go to Taco Bell, wait for his shift, and get free food. It was fantastic.
Yeah, you can't beat it.
Uh, no, no, no. It was great, great times. But one time that I went, first time that I saw her, I went to his house and I see this beautiful young teenage girl, and I was like, "Holy shish kebab," But he's a handsome dude, so I'm always like seeing him with like fly girls, like really good looking girls. So I'm like, well, it's just probably a chick that he's banging. I didn't know that was his sister. And I'm like, so who's the hottie? And he's like, dude, that's my sister. And I'm like, oh, my bad. And he looked at me. He's like, "Don't even think about it, Angel." And I'm like, "Duly noted." And no, she was really cool. She was more into modeling when I saw her that first time.
Mhm.
She was doing a lot of modeling, and she wanted to be. She was more into like wanted to be the actress, and Carlo wanted to do acting, but he was more into like action stuff.
Mhm.
And she was more into like dramas and and that kind of stuff. And it's funny because a lot of her earlier work had more action oriented roles, and all Carlos can get now is like dramas and shit. And I'm like, that's fucking crazy. You want to do the action, she gets action. She wanted to do dramas, and you get the dramas. What the hell, Like, but
Mhm.
it's funny, like the way things work out. But now the movie that he's in is kind of like a cross between like Fatal Attraction and Scream. It's like a little bit of blend of those two, and there's going to be a sequel to it, which goes more into like the horror element and stuff. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah. I checked out the picture of her brother, Carlos. I haven't seen
Yeah,
him. I don't think.
he was in Parks and Recreation, the TV show.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, yeah, he's been around. He's actually done a lot of projects, but a lot of small independent stuff. That's what I'm saying. This is like the big movie. Like
Mhm.
it's actually distributed and the whole 9 yards. I'm actually putting together a review video for the movie to post it on the internet for him. So
Cool.
he's looking forward to that. Like the last couple of days, he's like, "So is the video done yet?" And I'm like, "Relax, dude. It's almost done." He's excited. First big like deal.
Yeah, that's pretty
But
good.
he's a good dude. And if he makes it, man, God bless him. Like he's what I call a heterosexual homo sapien, if you know what I mean. And that's another reason why it's been hard for him to break out of Hollywood, because you know how Hollywood doesn't like those heterosexuals.
Yeah. Well, I know, like it's a tough
Oh man.
tough path to follow because like I know with his sister, I'm pretty sure she was on Fast and the Furious. Like she's been on a lot of the action stuff. Like she was the go-to chick. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for a couple of years, Eva Mendes was like really hot. She probably would have had a much longer stay,
Uh huh.
in like the upper echelon of like releasing movies, but she like settled down with Ryan Gosling, the actor,
Yeah.
and they had a kid and stuff, and like like her, she's 50 years old now, so she's a little bit older.
You
Um,
couldn't tell. Be
yeah,
honest.
no, she's so beautiful. She was a little bit older than me back then. She's like 4 years older than me, so
Yeah.
I'm the in between. But man, when I met her, she was smoking, and now she's 50. She's still gorgeous. Like, but she would probably would have been another decade in when it came like making big movies. But she just wanted to be a mom after all that money she made.
Yeah. But
Yeah,
she had to have made big money because I know
yeah,
she had some pretty big freaking pretty big spots.
yeah. I think she was in Too Fast, Too Furious. I think that's the one
Yes.
she was in.
Mhm.
And Hitch with Will Smith is the one she was in.
Yeah.
She was in the other guys with Will Ferrell and Mark Wahlberg.
Mhm.
Um, she was in Ghost Rider with Nick Cage. Let's see, Training Day with Denzel Washington and Ethan Hawke. She was in that. Let's see, what other
Let me
movies?
see here.
All About the Benjamins. We Own the Night. The Woman. Yeah, she's been in a bunch of like
Well,
big productions, man.
she collaborated with Will Ferrell and Mark
Yeah,
Wahlberg.
the other guys.
Yeah. That's some
Yeah,
crazy stuff, man. And that was actually a pretty good show.
that was a good movie. Yeah.
She was a mild. She portrayed the wife of a mild-mannered forensic NYPD accountant, Farrell.
hmm
That's what it was.
She was also in Exit Wounds with Steven Seagal and DMX. I don't do a very good DMX impression.
Yeah, I don't do that either. I wish
Ride
I
or
always
die.
chuckle when I hear other people do it because I don't know too many people who can do it. that, it's, that
Well, with DMX, got to get in a certain mood, and that's normally crack cocaine,
hmm
because he was cracked out most of the time, and it's kind of hard to get in that mood if he's never done crack, and I've never done crack, so I don't know the exact way to like slip into that, but like, well, he was a dog, man. He was like, yeah, it's a dog, man,
hmm
dog for life,
Yeah,
and there's only so much that you can do before you throw your voice up.
yeah. She was. It was right. She was in the Fast Five. Yep.
Yeah, well, it was
Is
Too
it?
Fast, Too Furious.
Yeah,
I
it's
think.
one of the sequels
Mhm.
for it. Yeah. She played. It was the 2011 film. That's cool as hell. I knew she was
Yeah.
in one of them.
No, I think she was in more than that because if you go back to Too Fast, Too Furious,
hmm
I think that's one of the earlier ones.
hmm
So I mean, I think they might have brought her character back for a sequel.
They kept switching them around though. They had that other one chick. She was the
hmm
darker black haired chick. She was
Yeah.
the one that was in the first one, which she was beautiful too by no means, but she wasn't as beautiful as Eva was.
No,
That girl
Eva
had
was
her
smoking.
looks.
Yeah.
Whenever I finally seen the first moment I seen her face, I was like, oh yeah, dude, I remember her. Oh yeah.
Like I'm telling you, like very rarely do I see a chick and all of a sudden I hear in the background the angels. And then the smoke just appears and like heavenly bodies just glow around her.
That was just as she
Little
walked in
floating
the door.
angels. Yeah, and then I'm like, drooling like Justin Bieber on video. Like, Mendez. Like that's one of those few times where I got googly eyes. And then her brother looked at me like he wanted to chop my head off. Like, don't think about it, bro. And I was like, all right, bro. I won't think about it.
Yeah. Oh wow, she even played in frickin' Children of the Corn, dude.
Like,
1998.
yeah.
Hmm.
Hey, when you're a young actor, you don't take any role you can.
Yeah, I mean that's actually a big frickin' role. That was Children of the Corn 5.
Yeah, yeah. Not one of the best of children of the
No,
corn. This is like
but she
this
got a
is
part.
children. Yeah, this is children of the microwavable corn.
Yeah.
Not the best one. This is it's kind of like Hellraiser 8. At some
Mhm.
point, you're like, come on, really? Like, are we doing this again? Like, we already. How many times do we need corns and children and the devils? We'll just be telling the same shit, Hollywood. Come up with something new.
I had my suspicions. I didn't want to say nothing until I found out, but it is. I was right. She also played in Training Day. She was Sarah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Trinity, yeah. With, like I said, with Ethan Hawke and Denzel Washington.
Mhm.
Yep.
You're right. Too Fast and the Furious. She played as Monica Fuentes.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
Typical Latina name. Fuentes.
Well, it was it was geared that way. I mean, it's like freaking. They use the word Fuentes because it rings off the tongue when you say it, and then you have a beautiful woman on top of it.
Yeah,
You know,
that's true too.
they do that on purpose. Once upon a time in Mexico, dude. I forgot
Hmm.
all about that freaking show. That is a
Yeah, she
cool
was.
movie.
Yeah, yeah. We on the Night was a good movie too with Mark Wahlberg and Joaquin Phoenix.
Mhm. That is.
The one I didn't like that she was in was Ghost Rider. I never liked that. I always see. I wasn't a fan of that.
Well, I think she did she did do a movie I think she should have stayed away from, and it was Hitch.
Which one?
Hitch.
Yeah, with Will Smith.
Yeah. That
I
that
mean that was a romantic comedy. I saw it once and I was like, yeah, I'll never see this again.
yeah. It wasn't really all that great. Like
Yeah.
whenever like there is no dude that's able to freaking do that shit, and then like there ain't no woman who's gonna sit and have a conversation with a man like that. You know what I mean? I'm sorry, they're gonna walk away, dude.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, there's a couple movies in her resume that kind of suspect, like Stuck on You.
Mhm.
That was a piece of shit movie. Like, that movie, like, that belongs in the urinal,
Mhm.
getting pissed on by like every trucker coming out of the valley. Like, that was a really fucking terrible movie. And it
Well,
was
uh,
by the Fairley Brothers, who normally are funny. I don't know what happened there.
a woman's got to eat. You got to remember that too. Freaking, I mean,
No, not, I mean, I'm sure the script read good. Um, the Fairley Brothers, that's legendary, Dumb and Dumber, you know?
yeah,
So, I mean, she probably didn't even read the whole script. She's like, the Fairley Brothers,
yep,
and look at the cast. Matt Damon,
oh yeah,
I'm in. Like, you don't have to think about that, like, Greg Kinnear and Matt Damon, like, in the Fairley Brothers. That just sounds like a winner. But then you watch the movie and you're like, holy shit, how could they fuck this up so bad? It's like,
well, hold up. So she was actually in a music video with Ludacris.
probably.
That's cool as hell. And Will Smith.
Yeah, probably. She's friends with a lot of these actors. And, I mean, she married Ryan Gosling for crying out loud.
Yeah,
Guy from Barbie. So,
that
I
is
mean,
cool.
she's gone Hollywood.
She
I
even
just hope she ain't drinking the Adrenal Clan and hanging out with Diddy.
Oh, Diddy ain't got nothing. Like, well, I don't know. We were talking about that before. Freaking, that was the last thing I said on Naroki's show. Was like, he just has something about those women, man. He knows how. For me. That's how I think he really rose to fame. He hooked up with these women, and he was able to climb his way up the ladder through his connections with those women.
Well, I don't know about that. What really blew him up was Biggie Smalls, Notorious B.I.G.
Uh-huh.
I don't know if you know the whole history of Death Row Records versus Bad Boy Records,
Yeah.
Tupac versus Biggie. Um, when Biggie died in '97, Puffy or Diddy or whatever his nickname is, the Diddler, um, really raped the shit out of his music catalog. And I'm talking about for hundreds of millions of dollars because literally like everything he released sold. You know, the album Life After Death, which came out right as Biggie had passed, sold, I think it was like 11, 12, 13 million copies or some shit like that.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, that's about $100 million right there, plus, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he didn't give any of that to the family of Biggie Smalls. He kept all that. He kept all royalties for years and years and years. So he screwed to him. He screwed another rapper, Shine. Literally cost him his career and his freedom because he went to jail over some bullshit gun charge,
Mm-hmm.
which is what caused Jennifer Lopez to leave Diddy. Because Diddy was the one with the gun. He was the shooter, and he blamed Shine, the rapper. And Shine ended up doing a prison time because Diddy he lied. And so there's a lot of artists. He screwed the Locks, Lil Kim, Lil Caesar. I mean, he just like what he would do is um, Black Rob, Craig Mack, who all had #1 albums
Mm-hmm.
and sold millions of copies. They all got screwed out of royalties, and they're both dead in very weird circumstances too. So uh, I don't know. Diddy's a very shady individual, and
Yeah.
there's a lot of depth around that guy, which is always very weird and conspiratorial. You know, like it's very some weird shit. And after years of being sued and talked about and with sweeping shit under the rug, right before all this shit broke out, a few months before, he opened up and said he's going to give the discography rights to the families of the dead rappers and give them rights to the catalog so they can make money off the music. But what he's not saying is he's already made all the profit, and the discography rights or the catalog rights are worthless now.
Yeah.
There's no money to be made.
It's like
Nobody buys CDs anymore.
it's like buying freaking old reruns from back in the 1970s.
Yeah, and it's not like they have the rights to the music, but not the videos. So the families can't put the videos out.
Yeah.
So what are you gonna do with a catalog of music that nobody's gonna buy anymore? But like what? Greatest hits
You
of
start
artists who had a one album that was
you
good.
start back at the basics. You take that shit back to the radio stations. They got these classic music channels. Start hitting them up. If you don't, man, you create one. You start freaking putting in that old music, and for every time it's played, you get paid.
The problem with that is you have YouTube with everything on it now. You have
Mm-hmm.
all these internet places, and with technology and certain things like smartphones, you don't need to even listen to the radio station.
I know.
I mean, I drive and I hardly ever listen to AM or FM radio, and if I do, it's like because there's an interview on an AM station I want to hear or some sports related stuff. I never put FM on listen to music.
Mm-hmm.
If I want to hear music, I have it on my phone as MP3s. I have 250 gigs on my phone, or I play it off my phone on like YouTube, and I have the video playing with the music loud banging. And, you don't need physical copies. Everything is streaming now, so
Well, I mean,
technology killed that.
I understand not listening to the radio and everything, but when this stuff is being introduced to me and somebody's telling me this is mine, it doesn't matter if I listen to the radio or not. I
Mm.
know that this is where I go to get money from it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Doesn't mean I have to listen to the radio. It just means, hey, you need to go talk to these radio stations and see if you can get a couple bucks from it. That's what I would
Yeah,
do.
no, no.
That's
But
what,
trust me, like they're not paying. That's the problem.
you know.
And historically, radio stations never really pay artists to play their music. The way that worked historically was artists would actually grease the palms of the DJs to
Yeah,
have the music
you're right.
played. So it's the other way around.
Yep.
And now, you know, there's no greasing of palms anymore. Radio stations just play the music as long as they have, BMI covered and
That's because the
they have,
DJ sobered up.
yeah. Uh, the DJs for radio stations are usually covered with licensing so they can play whatever they want.
Hmm.
They don't pay royalties to play a song. What happens is, depending on who they know, and I know this from knowing the industry and knowing people within the actual AM/FM radio industry, the way most of these songs become hits is because the artist knows the DJs. They've done the rounds, they've done the interviews with a lot of these DJs, and they sometimes pay them under the table to put their songs on there, and the production house helps pay the DJs under the table to put their music on the air, and they put it in, sporadically here and there. And if enough people start calling and say, "Hey, I want to hear that new Backstreet Boys song, "Giving Up My Anus," or whatever the song is, "You're tearing up my ass," or, whatever the song is, and that becomes a hit song that everybody's like, "You're tearing up my ass when I'm with you," and everybody's singing that shit, and that becomes a big hit, and then like that's the way it was done. But now it's like DJs are like, "Yeah, go fuck yourself. I don't need your money. I'm making money DJing, and I put whatever I want."
Yep.
So it's kind of harder, and technology's to blame. And again, you can just go on YouTube. The artists now make more money putting their own stuff on YouTube than even having a company that they're signed to. So a
Yeah.
lot of artists just go on independent instead of signing with like Columbia Records or Interscope or one of these big companies. They're like bypassing the middleman because they're getting raped for decades
Yep.
by these
That's what
companies.
I was thinking while you were saying that. Is like, I mean, I can't really criticize them because I mean, like these big cable corporations, they're the same way. They were freaking making money and ripping these uh, shows off. That's why a lot of shows that were actually on television had to be taken off, was because of the corporation and what they determined could be played and not. And all of a sudden now they've got freaking YouTube channels that are allowing them to put their stuff on, well, like uh, Roku and freaking shit like that. So
Hmm.
they don't have to deal with the freaking cable companies. They can just put this shit straight on the freaking internet. You know.
Yeah, yeah,
I'll be right back.
yeah. And I will do just the same. I'll be back in
Okay.
couple of shakes of pig's tail or something like that. That's the best I can come up with. It's pretty good. Yeah, not too bad.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That works.
Maybe a horse's tail is a lot longer, but I'll be back.
Hmm. Well, missed half of it actually. Actually, uh, I'm I'm thinking and I'm thinking actually I've come with a
Yes, minds are full of crack because the left is fully whacked and they keep fucking with our kids, and they're endangering the lives. So we're all gonna end up really fucked. That's the truth. Yeah, I got a Minds account. I have a mind to like pay more attention to Minds. And see what I did there. I just haven't really kept up with that on top of all the 385,000 other fucking social media outlets that are on there. Jesus fucking Christ! There's so many of them. Like now they have about TikTok. There's another one called Likey, and I'm like, what the fuck is Likey? It's like it's just like fucking TikTok. Well, what the fuck do we need Likey for? And I'm like, no, like I had no answer. And there was just like there's so many of these like apps.
It
Yeah,
is a,
yeah. You know what? Fuck this. I'm going back to MySpace. Yeah,
no, it is a competitive industry. It's a really competitive industry.
MySpace was the shit, son. Like I love MySpace.
Is
Oh,
it?
I know, but like it's become like total bullshit. And I was like, it's not the same. Yeah.
Uh,
I mean, now it's more like music driven than anything else. But it's like, yeah, really don't need that. Like, how about you make it, like cool again? Like, like they have Make America Great Again. Make MySpace great again, motherfucker. Do something important. Odyssey's cool. I like Odyssey. Who? Oh yeah, Mammy Tom. Yeah, yeah. Was it? He's the one who was riding with Jaffe and he got mad at me or Jaffe or that dude. Oh yeah, 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 yeah. That Tom. I thought you meant Miami Tom. No, that's a different Tom. Man, MySpace Tom. Well, he's on Facebook also. Like, where else is he? He's young. Oh, I had no idea on that. Is they still have that goofy leg? Yeah, like he should have taken a trip into the Bermuda Triangle. Because when he sold MySpace, he fucked everything up. Like, uh, oh man, he needs to jiggy. Yeah, he needs to jiggy his way back into MySpace and fix that shit. You know who owns MySpace now, right? Justin Timberlake. Yeah, well, I think he still owns it. I know he bought it for like $20 million. Money well spent, or somewhere along those lines. Which is crazy because at one point it was $1 billion company. You know, Ryan Reynolds. Yeah, he's a good guy. I got to briefly speak to him for like 30 seconds once. Yeah, he's a cool dude. I have actually met Mobile. It's my cell phone provider for the last 2.5 years, and they're actually really good. I've had no issues. Doesn't drop calls. The internet when I go out works perfect. I get, and then my phone's oldest. I got the Samsung S8, which is old as shit now. They're like the S20 something, and it works perfect on that. My phone is not 5G because it was before the 5G technology upgrade. So I still do the 4G, and it has no issues. Like it picks it up perfect. Has a cool hotspot. You know, if your phone has 5G, it has 5G towers. They actually just sold majority ownership to T-Mobile. So they
Hmm.
have now all the T-Mobile towers carrying the signal, so it's even stronger. Um, T-Mobile is a minor owner, but they're not they're a majority owner. And Ryan Reynolds is now a minority owner, but he still has ownership stock in the company. Yeah, he's a good dude. But again, I mean, like overall, they not only got involved switching over to them because he managed to do something which I never thought I'd see in my freaking life. And when I tell you what it is, you're gonna be like, "Really? That's what he did? It convinced you?" See if you can figure it out. I'm gonna give you 10 seconds before you say anything. No, no, really? Y- Yeah, something he did which blew my mind into the point that I was okay. I'm switching him in mobile now. He got Rick Moranis to get off his lazy ass, and he did a commercial with him for Mint Mobile. Now, Rick Moranis played Lord Helmet in Spaceballs, the greatest comedy ever made. And he was also in, let's see, such classics as Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, Honey, I Blew Up the Baby, which is my favorite. That was the third one. I'm not too fond of the sequel, Honey, We Shrunk Ourselves. That wasn't that great. But the first and the third I really liked. I mean, Rick Moranis did a lot, and of course, Ghostbusters. No, but he played Darth Vader better than Darth Vader played Darth Vader. That's how good he was. Lord Helmet. The best thing, like the sidekick. I don't know if you ever caught that joke, but the sidekick that he always had with him, that in the gray suit, his name was Colonel Sanders. And there's a part when like he's like, they went to Plaid, and he's like, "What do we have in this thing? A Cuisinart?" And he's like, "No, sir." And he goes, "I want light speed." And he goes, "No, no, no, light speed is too slow." And he's like, "Speed too slow." And he's like, "We gotta go faster than light speed." And he's like, he goes, "Take him to ludicrous speed." Doesn't exist, by the way. And then he's like, "Sir, ludicrous speed." And he's like telling like, "You know, shut down the circus." And I do this, and he's like, "Come on, Colonel Sanders, what are you, chicken?" That line, bro, for years, I would like have tears in my eyes. 'Cause, I thought I was the only one that ever got that. What's the matter, Colonel Sanders? Chicken? Oh, oh, it's Spaceballs, Croup? Oh, which one? Uh, Remind me. See what we're doing. No, no, well, the part that he goes, "I knew it. I'm surrounded by assholes." Yeah, uh, yeah, because he goes, "Who made that man a gunner?" Because no, first like he shoots the shit, but he's like, "I said across her nose, not up it." And he goes, "Sorry, sir." He has like he's cross-eyed and shit. He's like, um, and he goes, who is that ass? He goes, "That's his name, sir. Asshole, major asshole." And he goes, "Who made that man a gun?" He goes, "I did, sir." And he goes, "Who's that?" "He's also an asshole, sir." He goes, "How many assholes do I got in this ship?" And everybody turned around like, "Hey, hey!" And he's like, "I knew it. I'm surrounded by assholes." And then the best line, the helmet comes on. He's like, "Keep firing, assholes." Dude, I can quote that movie like without a problem. Like, my favorite is Michael Winslow because he was in Police Academy. The part is like, "We lost the creeps, the sweeps, and the beeps, blip, blip, blip." And then like he looks at Colonel Sanders, he's like, "That's not all he's lost." Like, what? Which one's them? Oh, okay, yeah. What was I was well way back. Yeah, the one part I remember of a Cheech and Chong movie, which always cracked me up, was when that one girl finds Ajax in the kitchen, and she thinks it's cocaine, and she's like snorting the shit out of it, and like Chong is like, you might not want to do that, and she's like, this is fucking great, and he's like, oh man, like she just snorted fucking Ajax, like, yeah, at least she's gonna be clean on the inside, you know. No, wasn't it Dave? Yeah, yeah. But it wasn't the parrot. It was Chong in the background. He's like, "Hey man, let me in." Who's this man? It's me, man. I got stuff. Oh man, and like they go like that for like 10 minutes, and he's like, "Let me in, man. It's me. I got the stuff. Come on." And like, "Who's this, man?" But it was Tommy Chong and Cheech. Yeah, I don't. I'm gonna make you the one of the Cheech and Chong with the Dave. Yeah, there you go. Dave's not here, man. No, man, I'm Dave. Oh, it's just so. Yeah, that's where. Well, they got it from this comedy scooter. This look. Send without notification. Yeah, that's fine. There you go. Click it now, and that's the original. Dave's not here. Well, Dave's another one. That's the one that had that kid and he's in that, yeah, and he's actually in the movie with Harrison Ford. Yeah, for Cheech and Chong. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I was like, "It's Dave, man. Open up! I think the cops open. Saw me. Open up." And then Chong is like, "Who is it?" And he's like, "Man, it's Dave. Open up." And he's like, "Who?" He's like, "Dave. Open up." He's like, "Dave, Dave's not here, man. He's like, no, man, I'm Dave. Chung is like the perfect burnout, dude. Yeah. Yeah. You mean we're smoking dog shit, man? Yeah. He's like, he ate my stash, so I followed him around, and then like, he's like, "Do you mean we're smoking dog shit, man?" Yeah. The only ones that got close and if one of them would have not died, I think they would have made more movies together. Was Chris Farley and David Spade. Um, I mean, you saw Tommy Boy and Black Sheep. That was perfect casting when they were together. Like, I mean, they were like they would complement each other. Especially Tommy Boy was so funny because like, and David Spade is a very funny guy, but he played it so like spot on, like deadpan, and then like anything funny he would say would be elevated to even funnier because of that. And then Chris Farley's just being a goofball, the whole time. So it was like that was I think the closest. But it had more to do, I think, with even the physical comedy of Chris Farley. But as far as like just commentary jokes, uh, as a duo, I don't think they'll ever be funnier than Cheech and Chong. Like they were just,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, there was like no over the top. It wasn't physical. It was just like they were just funny together. Like it just worked perfectly.
The thing that gets me is like I've been able now that I've been older, I've been able to kind of like go and look at a lot of the older comedies because when I was younger, I never looked at anything that was black and white, you know. And like when I was growing up, George Burns was like already in his 90s. You know,
Oh yeah,
I thought he
yeah.
was funny, but then I went and I actually went back and I watched his older stuff with him and his wife. And dude, that
Gracie.
yeah, Gracie Allen was the bomb, dude. She was so freaking funny. It was pathetic, you know. And when I was growing up, I didn't know anything about freaking what's his name, Jack Benny. Okay, and like now that I've actually been able to watch Jack Benny, freaking, it makes sense to me why people like freaking Seinfeld and all them made it so big is because they were riding off of Jack Benny's coattail. He
Yeah,
he was a
yeah,
he was a freaking genius.
yeah, yeah. A lot of the early comedians, even like Jackie Gleason and some of these cats, I mean, they really seeded the way for comedians now because, I mean, if you watch a lot of comedy shows, they're still kind of redoing those old comedians, biggest hits. I mean, The King of James, you ever seen that show?
No, I don't think so.
I forgot Kevin something is the guy's name. He's pretty big. He's been in movies with Will Smith. He's done Kevin James.
Kevin
Is
James.
the guy's name. That the show is a big hit, a huge hit. But it's the honeymooners in a modern day setting. That's all really it is.
Oh yeah,
And he's like a goofy Jackie Gleason fat guy.
yeah. I
You know,
know he played on King of Queens.
King and Queens. That's the show I'm talking about.
That's what it is. Yeah.
Yeah,
I,
yeah, yeah.
I freaking just now realized what you was talking about. Shit, I had to
Yeah.
go and look at his face.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. He's got one of those names of like, yeah, I don't remember the name, but we see the face. Like, yeah, I know that fat guy.
Yep. Now he actually sticks out to me a lot whenever it comes to like his well he plays the stupid man, you know what I mean? Like he doesn't
Yeah,
pretend to be smart, and when and that's kind of what people want to see when it comes to people. There's nothing wrong with it, you know. Well, there's it's like Jackie or like freaking George Burns and freaking Gracie Allen. I honestly think people didn't want to show Gracie Allen because like women had a problem with the way she acted. You know what I mean? Because she was ditzy. You know.
Yeah, and well, not only that, a lot of people back then were so into like Lucille Ball, and they had kind of like there was a little bit of a rivalry when it
Hmm.
came to like female comedians because there weren't that many. And Lucille Ball had really started like getting really famous. So unfortunately, Gracie didn't really like peak as funny as she was and become as big as she could have been.
Yeah.
Male comedians had it a lot easier, you know. Back then, if you're like Lucille Ball and everybody was like already focused on you as a big female comedian, that was it. There's no other, actress or comedian,
Hmm.
female comedian that could take their spot for decades, you know. I mean, they still talk about Lucille Ball like she was a brilliant comedian, and she was okay, but she wasn't like the funniest either, you know.
Yeah.
She's I
Well,
mean, I laughed at some of the stuff, but honestly, the best parts of the show was Ricky Ricardo to me, 'cause I'm Cuban, and like, Lucy,
yeah. Now with me,
yeah,
I every time I get into talk about Lucille Ball and all that, I think of Carol Burnett. Now she was smart. She went through the route of Las Vegas,
hmm,
and that was how she made it. And I noticed that a lot of good comedians did that too. They came up
yeah,
out of Las Vegas, and that's because that's where she started out. She was right there on the
yeah.
strip, you know.
Hmm.
So and that's the one thing I did notice. Like she didn't have to compete with him, and
No, well, none of that. Carol Burnett was more in your face than Gracie. Gracie was like, she was funny, but she was kind of like a little bit more mild
mhm,
personality wise. And Carol Burnett was a little bit more like a female Jim Carrey in a way.
mhm,
Very like spot on and active and always trying to like do a lot of stuff in her makeup and that's what really stood out for her. Lucy almost like played herself in a way in a lot of
yeah,
ways. Lucille Ball. Even I Love Lucy was kind of like her life, her and Ricky Ricardo. You
yeah,
know.
pretty much.
Now it's fucked up because like for generations everybody thought that we Cubans spoke like that. Like, hello, Lucy. You in trouble now? Like, you don't sound like that, motherfucker. You sound like everybody else. No, you Cubans. This is how you talk. I'm like, no. Not even the worst Cuban in my family talks like that. I'm Cuban, but for like 30 years, everybody talking Cuban was like, hello, how you doing? Like, what the fuck is happening here? Like,
That's why you guys never allow anybody at freaking like barbecues and shit. Like people
yeah,
walk
because
by and you guys are like, "Get the fuck out of here, dude! What are you doing? You ain't getting none of my food."
I can imagine how like white people saw like when they had Cuban people like moving to the neighborhoods and like they were invited like to barbecues. I can imagine this conversation. No, honey, we don't want to go to the Cuban family's barbecue. I don't want to see a room full of like 30 people all going. I got the barbecue. We're gonna make that chicken. Oh, what are you in trouble? You over barbecue the chicken? Like I mean, we got ridiculed for decades for eating chicken and rice and frijoles, beans.
Uh-huh.
And there's no reason to laugh at us because we like, beans, chicken, and rice. If, liking that kind of food is bad, why does
Dude,
everybody,
it's
actually,
it's not it's not that way anymore, dude. People are trying to sneak into freaking Cuban barbecues, dude. Like I used to have a neighbor who was a Cuban, and I honestly would always try to find an excuse to go over there whenever their dad was like out there freaking cooking on the barbecue. I'd always
yeah.
try to do it, dude, because like and that's the way everybody in the neighborhood was. Freaking every time he went out there with a barbecue, he'd have to chase everybody away. Like you, no, you go away. This,
Because white people finally realized, like, yo, these motherfuckers can cook.
yeah, exactly.
It took like 40 years, and then somebody was like, you know what? I'm gonna give these Cuban guys family here. I'm gonna give them a shot. I don't know. You think it's a good idea there, Earl? Don't worry. It's gonna be okay, honey. Come on, Martha. Let's go pay them a visit. Next thing you know, they're eating chuletas and carne de puerco
Mm-hmm.
and like. and watermelons and all kinds of good savory shit. I'm getting a crank call. I think that's my phone going off in the background.
Yeah, we probably better get off of here anyhow, 'cause it's starting to get late. So
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's Mark's been on here going nuts over the computer and everything. So
I saw that. Mm,
I will talk to you later. I have been recording this, so I'll send you a copy of it. Okay.
good
Cool.
times.
All right.
And a good thing again, no smoking of the meth or the heroin.
That's
Can
right.
you even say heroin? I don't know. But
But
anyway.
we haven't covered anal probing yet, though. So you'll
Oh,
have to come back so we can discuss anal probing a little
that's
bit.
kind of a that's kind of a touchy subject, and
Yes, it is.
when you get work, and penetrate really deeply if you put your mind to it.
It's all about
Minds.
penetration. That's what it's
Yes,
about.
that's what she said.
I will see you later.
Good.
It was great talking to you tonight, man. I appreciate it.
No problem. Glad I could, make you guys laugh a little bit.
All right,
Uh, I,
I'll see you on Sunday night. All right.
you got that, sir. Remember, you got the link.
Yes, it should
Okay.
be. Should be.
Oh, it's not this Sunday. It's the next following Sunday.
Yeah, next following Sunday. My bad. Thank you.
Yeah.
I,
Don't get all confused and then I get him on my show this week and I'll be like, yeah, there, buddy.
yeah.
Sorry there, Steve Roberts. He got confused.
No, it's not gonna happen.